Interestingly enough, your thoughts, what you think about things and how you think, determines your values. It determines what is going on inside you. Once they are stored away, your thoughts determine your feelings. It's how you think about something that determines your feelings, whether you are happy or unhappy, whether you are scared or confident. Your feelings then determine your actions. So we start off with the law of control, saying that the key to success is to feel that you are the master of your own destiny, that you're behind the steering wheel of your own life. You're in charge of your life by taking full and complete control over your thoughts. Your thoughts will control your feelings will control your actions, and your actions, remember, as always, your actions will determine your success or your lack thereof. So the law of control is important. Now, as opposed to the law of control, we have what is called the law of accident. Now, the law of accident is really a metaphysical principle. It is only a law, like a traffic law or like a legal law, to the degree to which we live by it consistently. The law of accident is what about 80% of the population live by, plus or minus. The law of accident simply says that by failing to plan, you're planning to fail. Failing to plan is planning to fail. Now, the majority of people don't believe that they're living by this, but if you look at their lives, you see that that's true. Failing to plan means planning to fail. These are the sort of people that say, well, it's not what you know, it's who you know. It's being in the right place at the right time. It's luck. It's the luck of the draw, and so on. These are people who, as a result of feeling that their life is controlled by forces outside themselves, don't have clear plans, don't have clear goals, are not working persistently and consistently day by day toward accomplishing something they want, and their lives just seem to drift and go around in circle like a ship without a rudder. Now, a person, just like a ship without a rudder, a person with no central plan is a person who has very little control. Is a person who feels that, in fact, they are out of control of their lives, like they're falling through space with no place to stop. And these people are invariably unhappy. The reason why people are negative today, the reason why people are unhappy, the reason why people are sick and frustrated, the reason why people underachieve in life is most of them are living by this law of accident. And in so doing, they have no sense of control over their lives, they have no sense of inner peace, they have no sense of happiness, and so on. So we are going to show you how to free yourself from the law of accident personally or permanently. Now, the next law is what is called the law of cause and effect. The law of cause and effect says that for every effect in your life, there is a specific cause. That everything that happens in the universe happens for a reason. That nothing happens by accident. That failure does not happen by accident and success does not happen by accident. That happiness or lack of happiness are a result of cause and effect relationships. That if you have an effect in your life that you want to have more of, more success, more money, more happiness, better health, you can trace it back to a cause. And what you do is you repeat and duplicate the cause. If you have an effect in your life that you want to have less of, if you have problems, difficulties, and so on, you can also trace that back to a cause. All progress in human life and human society stems back from identifying the causes of what we want more of or less of and changing the causes. Now, the law of cause and effect, of course, is the iron law of the universe. This is the law, if you like, that we can come back to over and over again, and many of our laws are paraphrases of the iron law. It's also called the law of sowing and reaping, that whatsoever you sow, that also shall you reap. But the iron law, the law of cause and effect, gives us a complete sense of control. If we believe that there's a cause and effect relationship, that everything happens for a reason, then we have a tremendous feeling of control in our lives. We can identify the causes, we can duplicate the causes, we can make our lives anything we want. The most important application of the law of cause and effect is this. It is that thoughts are causes. Thoughts are causes and conditions are effects. Thoughts are causes and conditions are simply effects. The starting point of everything is your thoughts about something. It's your thoughts about a job, your thoughts about a relationship, your thoughts about your health, your thoughts about your future. Your thoughts become causative agents. The conditions become the effects. That if you wish to change any of the conditions of your life, you have to change the thoughts that precede those conditions. You have to change what is going on in your mind. Now, wonderfully enough, there's only one thing in the whole universe over which you have complete control, and that is your thoughts. So if you take full and complete control over your thoughts and keep your thoughts on what it is you want, make them positive causes, the conditions or effects will take care of themselves with the inexorability of a law of nature. Now the next law is what is called the law of belief. The law of belief simply says that whatever you believe with feeling, and this is the key, with feeling, and the more emotion you put into a belief, becomes your reality. It becomes your reality because you will always act in a manner consistent with your beliefs. As a matter of fact, your entire reality right now is simply an outward picturing of your most intensely held beliefs. If you believe something that is positive or believe something that is negative, or as Henry Ford said, if you believe you can do a thing or if you believe you cannot, you are right. Our beliefs do form our realities. To the degree to which we believe anything to be true, our beliefs act as sort of like a screen. They filter out any information that is inconsistent with our beliefs. We have a deep down desire inside of us to remain consistent. So we're always trying to view our world, rationalize our world, interpret our world so that it is consistent with what we have already decided to believe. We develop what is called scotomas. A scotoma is a word in psychology that simply says that we develop blind spots. We do not see opportunities if we are convinced that there are no opportunities. We do not see possibilities for success if we don't believe that success is possible for us. However, if we begin to change our beliefs, we begin to change our realities. Let me give you an example. There's a story of a young man who came from a small Midwestern town. It's a true story. It was reported in the psychological journals a couple of years ago. He got straight A's all through junior high school and high school. At the end of the 12th grade, he wrote his Scholastic Achievement Test to go to university. A few weeks later, he got back a letter from the university saying, "You have scored 98 on the Scholastic Achievement Test and you're hereby admitted to the university for the fall semester." Well, he didn't know very much about Scholastic Achievement Tests, and he thought that the 98 was an IQ score. Now, an IQ score of 98 is slightly below average and is about 20 points below what is necessary for college-level work. He was convinced, and he just discarded his entire high school career, all the A's that he's gotten. He was convinced that he could not do college-level work, but he went off to college in the fall. After the first semester, he was failing or nearly failing in every subject. His counselor called him in and said, "What seems to be the problem? You did extremely well in high school. These courses are only 1 degree of difficulty removed from your high school courses. Are you having problems with girls? Are you having problems with drugs? Having problems adjusting? What is it?" He said, "Well, sir," he said, "I'm doing the very best I can, but you can't blame me. I've only got a 98 IQ. And the counselor had a smile in front of him. He said, "What are you talking about?" He said, "Well, in my letter of admission to the university, it said that I got a 98 on the Scholastic Achievement Test." He said, "Son, that's not an IQ." They said, "That's not an IQ. That is a percentile. What that means is that you scored equal to or higher than 98% of the students in the country who wrote that test. You're one of the brightest kids in this university." Well, this young guy went out. He checked on the Scholastic Achievement Test. He found it was true that the 98 was a percentile, not an IQ. He went back to his courses, and 2 years later, he was in the top 10 in a 30,000 student university. He was leading in all of his classes. Once he changed his reality, once he changed his beliefs about his intelligence, his reality changed automatically. Now, an important point with regard to this is that every one of us has self-limiting beliefs. Every one of us believes ourselves to be limited in some way. Every one of us believes ourselves to be limited in intelligence, creativity, money-making ability. I can't sell. I can't speak in front of audiences. We tend to think that we are not capable of being on time. We're not mechanically inclined, and so on and so forth. But exhaustive research demonstrates that talents are pretty evenly spread throughout the population. That most of the limitations we have do not exist in reality. They exist only in your own mind. And one of the starting points of great achievement is to start questioning those self-limiting beliefs and throw them off and act as if they did not exist. And when you act as if they didn't exist, lo and behold, they simply disappear.